Today, I have with me Travis McGinnis. Travis is a solutions consultant on our services team, and he's going to walk us through a demo of a client of his moving their services process into HubSpot. So Travis, tell me a little bit about this client, their industry, the size of the company. What kind of company are we working with?
So this client, they primarily serve the real estate and property management industries, and they work with those companies to find, source, and place virtual assistants from the Philippines.
Very cool. So what is the specific problem that we were tasked with solving for that client, and what were the existing processes before we got engaged with them?
So currently, their sales team uses HubSpot right now for their partner side, for their real estate agents. They have the deal pipelines to bring their client on board, and then from there they pass off to their current platform is basically like an all-in-one do everything kind of platform. Like it does everything but not well. And because of that, they want to bring everything in HubSpot in using Service Hub and ticket pipelines. So that was the task that we brought on board with, is to basically say, let's take our VA services team and bring them into HubSpot so we can mirror that with the sales team who's already using the deal pipelines.
I've seen a lot of talk about moving more than just marketing and sales into HubSpot. And I think it's becoming a lot more common to have services, back office, even stuff like accounting in HubSpot. So that makes complete sense, especially if they're coming from another platform that doesn't do that stuff very well. Should we get into the demo? I'd love to see what you guys have built.
Yeah, let's do that. So what we built for them in HubSpot is basically a series of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ticket pipelines, and the tickets move through the pipelines dynamically with workflows that make that handoff process seamless. I'll show you quick what one of the application page looks like. So if I'm a VA, I will come to this website and I want to apply for a role with this company. So they'll apply for a job like a bookkeeping assistant. They'll fill out this form. It'll create a brand new application record in the recruiting pipeline. This one here. So it defaults name of the ticket to first last name of the applicant and then the role they applied for. So in this case, my name, bookkeeping. So their reps will come in here, they're called ambassadors, and they'll get notified that, hey, this ticket's ready to be worked, go review the application. So they'll come in here and they'll look at my application. And then we built a series of playbooks that they can use to make this review process easy for them. They'll do the initial screening, so they'll lock this playbook, and they have this pop up. And they can review the resume, leave notes, and then, hey, let's say they passed the initial screening. Log note. And then it moves the ticket to the next stage of the pipeline, which would be the phone screening.
So when they log that playbook, there's automation that moves it forward?
Correct. So now it's in the phone screening stage because it logged that playbook. And we can see all the playbooks we built here for the recruitment process. If the partner wants to cancel, they've got a playbook for that. We have a playbook to update a custom object. So if they're in the operations pipeline, every month they'll have a call with the VA and they'll fill out this playbook. So they'll say, hey, let's time for your monthly review, VA Travis, and they'll fill this out. Like, how's the VA doing? What's your performance look like? Are they doing good, doing bad, need improvement somewhere, doing great? Let's give them a raise. They fill this out. When they log this, it'll actually create a new custom object record called team performance right here. It'll create this record and associate to the VA on the ticket. So we have a bunch of custom objects we created for this process, and all that fun stuff that we're basically bringing all of their external HR management systems into HubSpot.
That is incredible. Can you just pop open the CRM nav and show me what custom objects you have in here?
Yep. So we created one for 2-1 files, and this is the HR file for the VA contractors. And they can update this in HubSpot as well. So each VA, when they're hired on board, they'll be given a link to fill out their contractor record. So each VA will get the record that they can fill out and they can update this on their own when they get that portal launched. They'll be able to update their own profile card from the portal. And this has like their full name, their birth date, where they live, the personal email address, government ID numbers, all the stuff you need to have on file to run an HR organization effectively. So that's the 2.1 files, the contractor files. We also created a survey response record. So this gets filled out again during the operations pipeline. Every month, their team, the client team, will meet with their partner, the real estate company, and they will do a survey like, how is your VA doing overall? So if we click into a survey response record, these are collecting things like, what are the highlights of VA's performance in the last year? What could they improve? What's the client's name? What's the VA's name? And then they use this to then seed the monthly reviews with the VA. It says, hey, your VA is doing great. Let's give them a raise. Or, hey, you're rated a 4 out of 10 by your partner client. Let's work on improving that part of your skill set.
And I see you've got a meeting recording in here even. So for every review that they have, there's a new record created, and that's associated back to the contact. So you can actually go back through the history of those reviews and, go back to the first, second, third one they ever did and go back and watch that video and just see how things have progressed.
Yeah, exactly. And again, that's all from a playbook. So if we look at our library, CSAT, Survey Response Records, here. So there's a field in this playbook for the main recording right here at the bottom. And that way they've got that log of here's what we met, here's what was said, here's the proof.
This is amazing. This is going to be so much easier for their team than manually tracking all of this stuff.
And the process is the same. Like, we built all these pipelines out, but the process is pretty much the same across the board. They get a new ticket in the pipeline, their team's lawyer goes assign owner to it. They use playbooks to move it through the stages, and then it goes to the next pipeline based on the value of a property, and these playbooks move through the property stages there.
This is obviously a much more smooth process for the client's team. For the applicant, is there any noticeable difference in their experience? I mean, obviously they're submitting an application through a website and going through interviews, so they're not seeing all of this. But is there any impact that's created for that applicant?
Yeah, so their current system right now, they're using a bunch of manual processes to email the applicant back based on the results of each of these screenings. So it's very manual and tedious for their reps to do because they get hundreds of applicants a week for these roles for their clients. So what we have baked into this pipeline specifically is some automation that takes those emails sending manually and inserts tokens in those emails based on the results of the screening process and sends it out to the applicant via workflow. So if they say, hey, this is blacklisted because of whatever, they didn't show up on time, it'll send an email back to the applicant and says, hey, you're not eligible to apply right now. Please check back in 6 months. Whereas before, they're doing that manually and insert those data points directly into the email from Gmail.
Yeah, and I'm sure everybody who has ever applied for a job is familiar with applying for a job and then being ghosted, not hearing anything. Like, even if you hear a rejection, that's better than hearing nothing. So fewer of those messages falling through the cracks is definitely a benefit.
That brings up something else that we're going to be building for them in the next phase. So in this phase of the project, we designed for them a VA portal that is HubSpot's membership system that they can log into. In the next project phase, we're actually going to build it out and code it so their team can use it. And the idea is that their VAs will be able to log in to a HubSpot hosted portal and view the status of all their tickets and where they're at with the client in their journey as becoming a VA with a partner. So all this stuff will be eventually VA facing in a HubSpot portal for, I can log into the portal and say, hey, I'm currently in this status and pairing with a partner. And I can see that as a VA for extra clarity.
So you guys are creating essentially like a membership portal, but for these VAs, and you're populating that portal dynamically with tickets that are related to the specific VA who's logging in.
Correct. Yep.
That is so cool. This is going to have such huge utility. And I think people seeing this, many of them are going to be realizing for the first time the utility of HubSpot for a services organization, for using it for staffing, recruiting, all kinds of cool use cases on the services side.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much, Travis. This was enormously helpful.